the least of our problems. After all, most of them don't even occupy more than a few millimeters on the surface of our skin. If only moles and skin tags were really that inconsequential. There are the goddesses of Hollywood who can do no wrong. Awful with a mole. People like Cindy Crawford, Ava Mendes, and Angelina Jolie certainly know how to make a mole look good on them. Unfortunately, most of us are not models and actresses and have no idea how to make a mole the size of a pencil eraser work for us. It is a good thing that we can now get rid of moles and their cousin skin tags. In this vid, I am going to share with you everything I know about moles and removing them. You'll find out the different kinds of moles and if it is safe to get rid of that ugly mole on your own or if you need to go to the doctor. You'll also learn the various mole removal methods that are done by dermatologists and those you can do at home. I'll also share with you some of the most effective yet underrated ways to remove a mole. The different kinds of moles. There are 3 different kinds of moles: common moles, atypical moles and melanoma. Most of the time, we're dealing with common moles. I am not even going to talk about how to remove atypical moles and melanomas here, except to give you a brief overview about them. 1. Common moles like melanocytic nevi is what most people have. Most adults have around 10 to 50 common moles, which are usually found on the face, neck, chest, back and arms, the body parts which receive the most sun. Places like the scalp, breasts or buttocks rarely have moles. Moles are skin growths that occur when melanocytes, the skin cells that carry the skin pigment melanin, cluster together instead of spreading out over the skin. Most common moles aren't usually larger than 5 millimeters. That is around the size of a pencil eraser. They are usually round or oval shaped and they have a clear, distinct edge and a smooth, even surface. Common moles aren't usually harmful. Unless having moles on awkward places on your face or your body makes you feel insecure about your physical appearance, there is really no reason to remove common moles at all. As you age, these pink, tan or brown growths on your skin will fade away or, at the very least, lighten. 2. Atypical moles, dysplastic nevi. Atypical moles, aside from being darker than the rest of your skin, look nothing like common moles. Unlike the latter, which are raised and have defined edges, atypical moles are flat and have irregular edges that fade into the surrounding skin. Sometimes, atypical moles have smooth surfaces, but they can also be scaly or pebbly. They rarely come in one color, instead blending in a mixture of pinks, reds and browns. People with atypical moles have higher chances of developing melanoma, the most dangerous type of skin cancer. However, it is still very rare for that to happen. Unless an atypical mole starts to itch, bleed or change in shape, size and color, there is no need to worry about it developing into a cancer. 3. Melanoma. A melanoma is a cancerous skin mole that develops when the melanocytes rapidly grow and invade other skin cells in the surrounding area. It is the most dangerous kind of skin cancer and should be attended to immediately by a doctor. A lot of melanomas look like atypical moles at the start. However, if the mole starts to change in appearance, such as if it begins to show shades of gray, white or blue, or if it itches, bleeds or feels lumpy, you need to see your doctor right away. I am not a skincare expert, so I am not going to tell you how to treat a melanoma. If you think you have a mole that might be dangerous to your health, the best thing to do is always to seek professional help. What mole removal options do I have? Your first choice, and what dermatologists commonly recommend, is to go under the knife. Not to discourage you or anything, but I think going through surgery just to remove a mole or a skin tag is taking the extreme route. Most of the time, all you want is to stop feeling self-conscious when people stare at a mole found on an awkward position on the face. But if you're eyeing surgery as a solution, then you should know the different types of procedures available. Please go see a dermatologist you can trust so you can learn more about your various surgical options. In a nutshell, here is what a dermatologist can do. 1. Excision $200 to $500 per mole. Dermatologist mole surgery using a scalpel. The doctor cuts off your mole from just slightly below the surface of your skin. This is then followed by cauterization or stitches, depending on whether the mole was raised or flat. For raised moles, your dermatologist will probably recommend cauterization, which uses electricity to burn the area and prevent bleeding. On the other hand, if your mole was flat and the surgery left a hole in place of the mole, your doctor will most likely stitch up the hole. Excision, as with anything that involves cutting through your skin with the sharp object, will always leave a scar. How big the scar is depends on whether the mole was cauterized or stitched up. Generally, the deeper the hole, the bigger and uglier the scar. Cauterized moles also leave scars, but they are usually lighter and finer than the scars left behind by a flat mole. 2. Laser removal $500 and up per mole. Laser mole removal. While laser mole removal sounds high-tech and state-of-the-art, it can actually leave you worse off than regular excision and stitches. Clinics offering laser removal will want to impress you with their high-sounding techniques, but what they essentially do is aim a thin laser beam at your mole to remove the melanocytes off the skin. On paper, this sounds good, but if you look closer, you will find all the reasons why you shouldn't even think about laser. For one thing, laser can actually stimulate the regrowth of your mole. For such an expensive price, there is no assurance that your mole won't come back in the future. Also, laser don't penetrate the skin, making it effective only for flat moles. Most people have raised moles, which means the moles have roots that go into the skin. And last but not the least of your concerns, laser, which is basically just burning your skin, leaves an even bigger scar than excision. 3. Electrocoagulation $200 to $500 per mole. Electrocoagulation, also called short-wave electrolysis, uses using a fine metal rod shock to electrocute the cells of your mole. It works a lot like laser mole removal in the sense that it burns off the mole. Like laser, it also leaves a permanent scar where there used to be a mole. 4. Radio waves $500 and up per mole. Radio waves are high-frequency waves that generate little heat. This is why some people claim that radio waves are the most comfortable and least painful way to remove a mole. The doctor simply passes radio waves over the skin to vaporize the mole. It does sound easy and appealing, but there aren't very many clinics that offer radio wave removal. Also, most doctors say that there is a good chance that not all mole cells will be removed using radio waves. I'd say that it's not much of a problem if you're trying to remove non-cancerous moles and the radio waves get rid of the dark patch that is visible to the naked eye. However, if a doctor thinks your mole has high potential to become a melanoma, you should remove all of the mole cells to be safe. Most people would also probably, like me, cringe at the price. Really, paying $500 just to remove a single mole is not justified, unless you're Bill Gates and you've all the money in the world to spend. 5. Cryotherapy $300 and up per mole. Cryotherapy destroys moles by freezing them. It is also used for eliminating other problems, such as hemorrhoids and oral cancers. This procedure is done by applying liquid nitrogen directly to the skin if it is a small problem, like a mole. The liquid nitrogen freezes and dehydrates the cells, killing the entire mole. Eventually, the mole will become a scab and fall off on its own. Cryotherapy is being marketed as more effective than the other procedures I mentioned above. However, freezing the skin has even higher potential to leave a huge scar, especially if the mole you want to remove digs deep into the inner layers of the skin. Natural methods for mole removal. For those of you who are, like me, not keen on going the surgery route, there are several natural mole removal methods that don't have to be as painful or expensive. natural mole removal methods. Take note, however, that not all of these methods have been tested in the laboratory. If you don't know how to apply them properly, they may even cause more harm than good. Still, because these methods use natural components that our bodies are better able to adapt to, I'd still prefer them over scalpels, laser beams or liquid nitrogen any day. 1. Bloodroot Paste. The extract of the bloodroot herb has been historically known as an effective treatment for moles and skin tags. In fact, it is the main ingredient used in Dermatend, my favorite product for removing a mole. Read my Dermatend review on this page to know more about this product. Note: Dermatend had been discontinued. Check out our recommended alternative, which is even more effective. Now, back to Bloodroot Paste. My main problem with this method is that most people don't know when too much is too much. Bloodroot works by tearing down the tissues of the skin. Technically, this is what you want, but bloodroot is too effective sometimes. If you use a formulation that is too strong, you can actually cause an ugly wound that will leave behind an ugly scar. 2. Apple cider vinegar. Soak a small piece of cotton in undiluted apple cider vinegar and rub over your mole for 15 to 20 minutes. Use apple cider vinegar in the undiluted form, as distilled vinegar usually don't have the benefits of the former. Some people have reported that this method also affects the area of the skin surrounding the mole, so be sure to protect your skin with a coat of petroleum jelly. 3. Baking soda and castor oil. Mix baking soda and a few drops of castor oil in a small bowl. Once the mixture has gained a paste-like consistency, take a pinch of the paste and apply it to your mole. Let it sit overnight and apply for as long as the mole is still there. 4. Garlic. This is going to sting, but some people have come up with good results using garlic. To get rid of a mole using this method, smash 1 clove of garlic and remove the peel. Smashing helps the sulfur-rich juices of the garlic to come out and seep faster into your skin. Place the garlic over your mole and keep it in place using gauze or a band-aid. Do this for several nights until you see the mole harden and fall off. 5. Aloe Vera Gel. Painless and odorless, aloe vera gel is a preferred method of removing moles naturally. However, it isn't as effective as bloodroot paste or apple cider vinegar and may take a long time before you see signs of the mole or skin tag falling off. To use this method, soak a small piece of gauze in aloe vera gel and place over your mole for up to 3 hours. Use fresh pieces of bandage to continue with the treatment for several weeks until the mole is removed. Are mole removal methods effective for warts? Warts may fall into the same category of skin blemishes as moles and skin tags do. In fact, many warts are often mistaken for skin tags. But don't be fooled. Warts are different from skin tags and moles. A wart, to put it simply, is a lesion caused by the human papillomavirus, HPV. Warts can be round, smooth and flat, but they can also look like little cauliflowers on the surface of your skin. You can have just one wart or you can have several warts growing together in a cluster. Warts grow when HPV stimulate the overproduction of keratin, a protein that is essential to healthy skin. Too much keratin leads to the formation of these small, usually painless growths that can disappear after a few months or stay put for several years. Typically, doctors recommend surgical methods for cutting, burning or freezing warts. But warts, unlike moles, are caused by a virus. Instead of merely removing the symptoms of the problem, treatments should address the virus. Surgeries can remove warts, albeit with high risk of scarring. They also don't guarantee that no warts will ever come back. This is why I recommend Wart Roll, a wart removal serum that don't just remove warts. It changes the environment of your skin so HPV cannot cause more warts to grow. For more information on Wart Roll, you can check out my comprehensive guide here. Can Dermatend remove skin tags too? Technically, Dermatend can remove any type of abnormal growth on your skin. However, since skin tags are different from moles, wounding them as you would wound a non-cancerous or precancerous mole isn't as effective. Note: Dermatent had been discontinued. Check out our recommended alternative, which is even more effective. Skin tags, also known as acrocordons, are little growths that normally develop in the armpits, neck, groin or other places where the skin is subject to folding and rubbing. Sometimes, skin tags grow on the face, usually on the eyelids. Doctors believe skin tags are the result of skin irritation due to rubbing, but a new study has shown that people who have skin tags carry the human papillomavirus, the same virus that is responsible for causing warts. Aside from the surgical methods I mentioned above, there is a wide array of home remedies that are used to remove skin tags. Here's a brief overview of each of them. Tie a piece of waxed dental floss around your skin tag. This will suppress the blood flow and kill off the skin tag in about 2 to 3 weeks. Warning: this method is not for people with low pain thresholds. Do this at your own risk. Place a piece of duct tape over your skin tag. There isn't much evidence that this works, but, presumably, the skin tag will stick to the duct tape. Once the duct tape loosens, check to see if the skin tag has loosened along with it. If not, apply another fresh strip of duct tape. Place 2 to 3 drops of tea tree oil into a cotton ball and apply directly to your skin. Do this at least 3 times a day for up to 4 weeks for best results. Tea tree oil has antivirus properties that makes it effective against HPV. However, it may be too harsh for direct application on the skin for some people. Use apple cider vinegar instead. If you have allergic reactions to tea tree oil, use apple cider vinegar on a cotton ball instead. The downside to using vinegar, however, is the acid in the vinegar will make this sting. Don't say I didn't warn you. Use lemon juice on a cotton ball. Like apple cider vinegar, this will also bite. However, it has shown mostly good results in killing off a skin tag because of its high ascorbic acid content. Mix baking soda and castor oil and apply religiously over your skin tag. You should see some results after a month of doing this. If you hate the smell of castor oil, put a few drops of orange oil to mask the odor. Cut a small square of banana peel and attach to your skin tag using tape. Make sure the inside of the peel is placed over your skin. Wait for results 2 to 4 weeks of doing this daily. Crush a clove of garlic and place it over your skin tag, using gauze or a band-aid in place. Like tea tree oil, garlic is an antivirus agent that will work against HPV. Cut the skin tag off using a pair of sterilized nail clippers. This is the most painful home remedy of all and will likely cause bleeding. Make sure you clean the area around the skin tag to minimize infection. If you ever will want to try this method, numb the skin tag first with an ice cube to minimize pain. Cover with a band-aid for protection during recovery. All of these methods show varying degrees of success and pain when it comes to removing skin tags. However, the biggest concern with these methods is that, aside from tea tree oil and garlic, they don't really acknowledge the root cause at all HPV. Here's what I recommend: checking out the link in the description below for a free bottle of skin tag removal.